Welcome, welcome to the May 2nd meeting of the Mobile City Planning Commission. I'd like to take a moment to review our general operating procedures. Our meeting is divided into two sessions, the public hearing session and the deliberation session. In the public hearing session, an application or group application on the agenda is called. The applicant makes his or her presentation. Commission members ask questions, if any. Members of the public make their comments. Only 4 people may speak for an agenda item or project and 4 against. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes, subject to questions by the commission. After 4 minutes, a loud beep will indicate 1 minute left speak, and at this point, please summarize your comments. After all opposition speakers have finished, the applicant will be given time to respond. If you do intend to speak, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, and give your name and address for our minutes. Please direct all comments to the commission only and not to the applicant or the audience, and please remember to speak directly into the microphone. On routine applications, the applicant may simply raise his or her hand if there are no objections to the staff recommendations. I will then announce that the applicant is in full agreement with those recommendations. If there are any questions, the applicant will be given an opportunity to respond. After hearing all applications, the commission will go into deliberation session. In the deliberation session, the commission discusses each application with input from the staff as necessary, but with no input from the audience. The commissioners then vote on each application, and results of voting can be learned from the planning department. If some issues arise in the deliberation session that were not addressed in the public hearing, the chairman has the discretion either to allow additional comments pertaining to those issues in order to resolve them, or call for the application to be held over for discussion at a future meeting. Occasionally, 1 or more commission members may recuse themselves from discussing and voting on a given application. A recusal does not necessarily mean the member is directly involved with the application or the applicant. Depending upon the circumstances, ethical rules may require a recusal when there is only the slightest appearance of a conflict of interest. If a regular member recuses, a supernumerary vote in their stead, unless both supernumeraries are already voted to absences. The Planning Commission makes final decisions subject to appeal on subdivisions, planning approvals, and plan unit developments, PUDs. The Planning Commission only makes recommendations on zoning applications, with the City Council making the final decision. Please turn off all cell phones at this time. Commissioners and staff, please remember to turn on your microphone when speaking. Roll call, myself present. Ms. Libby Latham.
Here.
Mr. John Dallas.
Here.
Ms. Shirley Sessions.
Here.
Mr. Taylor Atchison.
Here.
Mr. Matt Anderson. Here. Mr. Nick Omberger.
Here.
Mr. Don Hembry.
Here.
We have a quorum. Beginning with our holdovers, item number 1, Springfield Village subdivision and PUD. It's recommended for holdover to the May 16th meeting. Ms. Sessions is recused. Is the applicant present? You in agreement? Yeah. Okay. This item will be held over until the May 16th meeting. At that time, anyone that is here in support or against this application will have the opportunity to speak. However, you do have that opportunity now if you so choose. New planning approval applications, item number 2, 431 Azalea Road, again recommended for holdover. Is the applicant present? Group applications, item number 3, 700 Bishop's Lane North, recommended for tentative approval. Is the applicant present?
Jerry Bird, Bird Surveying Company, for the owner. Not a problem, really. I want to delete item 3 under the subdivision, condition 3, and go with the B condition and engineering comments on 8. They kind of contradict each other, and the 15-foot minimum are approved by city engineering, and do away with number 3, just in there twice. Other than that, we have no problem.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. We have a comment about a drainage concern of the property. Do you know what any of the drainage issues are that might exist with the existing property? We've got a comment that the adjacent daycare property has runoff issues from the property, and I want to make sure there'll be no further runoff issues. I just didn't know if you maybe knew what they were.
Yeah, the landfall, I don't know. The land does in fact fall to the east, possibly a little bit to the northeast corner of our lot.
Okay.
I know when it gets to our east property line, there's kind of a drop off, I don't know, 3-4 feet before you get down to the next property.
Yeah. It's
It's all been that way. I mean, it's an old fence line there and stacked full of leaves and.
it's currently isn't it currently a residential property?
Yes,
That's
that's right.
never had a retention or
The only,
drainage
that's
facility
right.
with it?
Didn't have to have it in conjunction with the rezoning. Of course, they would have to pave the 4 parking places in there, and it would have to be addressed at that time.
Okay.
Probably would help the situation.
Jerry, explain what you were saying about the number 3 under subdivision and number
Okay.
8. You
Number
want
3.
removed.
Yeah. Number 3 is just dedication of corner radius at Bishop Lane. According to section VD 6, I think VD 6 really refers to a 20-foot radius. And down in engineering comments, B is dedicated corner radius, 15-foot minimum, or is approved by city engineer. That one we like better than number 3.
Engineering and traffic have any issues with that?
They wrote it.
Any issues with removing 3?
They wrote number 3.
Yeah.
I don't know if here's one of those in you.
No,
I was asking engineering and traffic about
yeah,
number 3.
Yeah, B8 covers the topic.
Okay, so
and
you're
that's
okay removing
satisfactory.
3?
Yes, sir.
then? Okay.
Any other questions by commissioners? Anyone here, else here to speak for this? Anyone here to speak against? Thank you. And that concludes our public hearing session. We'll now enter into deliberation. Item number 1, Spring Hill Village subdivision recommended for holdover till May 16th. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposes? Item will be held over till the May 16th meeting. Note that Ms. Sessions is recused. Item number 2, 431 Azalea Road, recommended for holdover until May 16th. I make the motion. Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Items held over till May 16th. New group applications, item number 3, subdivision and zone, both recommended for tentative approval. Is there a motion?
On the subdivision, move to approve based on staff recommendations and reading item number 3.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Did we just take subdivision?
That was
and-
just subdivision.
Okay.
And I move to approve on the zoning based on staff recommendations.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposes? Item 3B passes. Is there any other business? Meeting adjourned.
Okay, so the logic I heard out of my office, and whether I agree with it or not, is that if you can look up and you can see a sign that says no parking, you can't. But if the sign is